Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randyrhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Mary had a little man.
The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
Dave Walton says the shutdown is part of a 1-2 punch that came when President Trump started a trade war with China. This destroyed his profit margin in soybeans while raising the cost of his equipment.
The cost of a new grain bin went up 15 to 25%. So things are already tight, and if you're thinking about buying a grain bin, you're probably not going to do it now.
But he refuses to criticize a president who flipped Iowa from blue to red with a big help from farmers.
You know, I think there's some growing uneasiness. We're sort of in the middle of the game, so you can't really predict the outcome of the game in the middle.
But you
can second guess the coaching if you're down.
Oh, yeah.
By 50 points at halftime. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're down by a few touchdowns, if you want to put it that way. But he campaigned on a lot of the things he's doing right now, and he's doing it.
What?
A lot of farmers, big supporters of Donald Trump. Until he's out of office, I don't think you'll hear him say anything bad about him.
Really?
Or bad about the tariffs. I think they're just going to say it's going to be good for us in the long run.
When he's not growing soybeans, Brian Walken is the mayor of Monticello. He says that most farmers he knows will swallow the pain with patriotic pride.
Iowa soybeans, baby.
Soybeans. Oh, and a $12 billion bailout doesn't hurt.
Huh.
By borrowing more money from China to pay you guys a subsidy.
Yeah, he knows that we're taking a hit. He's acknowledging that the tariffs are having a negative impact on the agriculture industry. And so to keep the farmers happy, he's given us a subsidy.
Does that make sense?
It does if his plan works out in the long run.
It's unbelievable that the farmers in Iowa can still support Trump when it's costing them thousands every week. I can't believe that they're that blind.
Yeah, but they're being placated with a $12 billion bailout.
Over at Daryl's Diner in Monticello, Gary, the eye doctor, tells me after he was critical of Trump supporters, he lost a few regular patients. And while a Democrat won this district in the midterms, political rifts are only getting wider.
You got diehards.
I think there's some
you
of
got
them.
diehards.
Some of them, the diehards are dying harder.
Good for you. Good for you. This is a man who can see the forest and the trees that make up the forest. Everybody else is like, oh, well, you know, the $12 billion is what he had to bribe us. So, you know, we didn't get it. We haven't gotten it yet. But when we get it, it's good. It's fine. This is so sick. That is such a cult 45 thing. Oh, well, you know, nobody's going to criticize. You know, we're not going to talk about that. We got no soybean orders. None. It's costing us thousands a week. But, you know, we could get a bailout. We could. Could happen. This is just so unbelievable. This is amazing. And, you know, there are people who are literally doing. Now, this blows my mind, really. Would you do your job if you weren't getting any pay? Would you do your job? And I'm not talking about people who, own their own business because you have a stake in it. You know what the future looks like. You know what you're hoping to accomplish. I'm talking about working for somebody else. I'm talking about if I didn't pay you guys for it's like 5 weeks. You didn't get paid. Would you still come to work? Brett says yes.
Randy, I don't have anything better to do.
That's sad and beautiful at the same time. Gotta say. Scotty, you got 2 weeks. I got 2 weeks, right? I got 2 weeks. I'd give anybody 2 weeks. I mean, I've worked for, when we worked for Air America, we didn't get paid. And I was paying my staff out of my pocket. And we had all just moved, so everybody had their moving expenses, to move all their freaking furniture from Florida to New York and City. And then we had first and last month's rent and security deposits, and everyone was, just tapped out and expecting that we would get paid once the thing launched. And then the thing launched, and, they told us, we swindled you. It was a big swindle is what it was. And, just be patient. We'll get you paid. And for me, what were we going to do? We were there, what were we going to do? So we all went to work. We were working without getting paid. So I know what that feeling is. But not because of the president of the United States deciding he wants to build a cock-a-doodle wall to keep needy families when there is no crisis at the border, creating these imaginary, and the thing is, he said, oh, it's national security and it's all the crime and it's the this and it's the that. Meanwhile, the FBI can't go to work. They can go to work, but they can't get paid. They can't get a subpoena because there's nobody in the agriculture department. They can't give out the subsidies to these farmers. The IRS isn't going to be able to process our tax returns. They're ordering Can you imagine? Oh, my God. You think the IRS has, some sort of bug up their ass now? I mean, can you imagine processing all these tax returns and not getting paid? Customs and Border Protection, which is what he says he's all about, aren't getting paid. Food and Drug Administration, he said something really stupid today. Well, we just did something. We just, lowered the cost of prescription drugs. And I went crazy. Me and Scotty went crazy. What is he talking about? What is he talking about?
Michael Cohen testimony. He says he's been threatened by you and Mr. Giuliani. He and his family have been threatened.
No, I would say he's been threatened by the truth. He's only been threatened by the truth. And he doesn't want to do that probably for me or other of his clients. He has other clients also, I assume. And he doesn't want to tell the truth for me or other of his clients. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
Oh, that's the wrong clip. That's the wrong one I just played there. That's, Donald Trump saying that Michael Cohen, doesn't want to confront the truth. I mean, this is just so precious coming from Donald Trump. Talking about truth, justice, and the American way. I mean, it's precious. It's really precious. No, it was when he was sandbagged by a reporter and told that Pelosi had issued this letter where she said that she will not be having a what is it called? A concurrent resolution with the House and the Senate to invite him to the State of the Union as long as the government is closed. So the reporters asked him about that. And, of course, the Democrats have become so radical. We're all so radical. And then he says, and it's just a shame because I just lowered the cost of prescription drugs.
Mr. President, Nancy Pelosi just responded and she said she will not consider a concurrent resolution to have you come to the House on January 29th to deliver your State of the Union. Your response to the House Speaker.
I'm not surprised. It's really a shame what's happening with the Democrats. They've become radicalized. They don't want to see crime stop, which we can very easily do on the southern border.
Oh, my God.
And it really is a shame what's happening with the Democrats. This will go on for a while. Ultimately, the American people will have their way because they want to see no crime. They want to see what we're doing. Like today, we lowered prescription drug prices the first time in 50 years. They want to see that. The Democrats would never have been able to do that. So we're all working very hard. We'll have to respond to it. We'll respond to it in a timely manner. Thank you very much, everybody.
Is any of that true? No, none of it is true. I don't know what he's talking about, but yesterday CBS News reported that prescription drug prices continue to rise about 6.3%, according to data from RX Savings Solutions, a consultant to health plans and employers. 400 drugs saw price jumps last year. Prescription drugs remain one of the highest out-of-pocket medical costs for most consumers. And then today, CBS reported that President Trump is holding a meeting on fair and transparent pricing. Nothing to lower the cost. There was no legislation. There was no bill. There was no agreement to allow Medicare or Medicaid to negotiate with pharmaceutical big pharma companies to lower the price of prescription drugs, at which they sell these drugs to these insurance plans. There was none of that. He just had a conversation with drug companies in which they agreed not to raise the prices of drugs next year. And then he tweeted a lie. Drug prices declined in 2018, the first time in nearly half a century. During the first 19 months of my administration, Americans saved $26 billion on prescription drugs. The price you pay at the pharmacy is going up, has been going up. Last year, more than 250 drugs, an average increase of 6.3%, and then 400 drugs saw even greater price increases last year. What? He's just such a liar. And then he said, "Oh, well, Michael Cohen is afraid of the truth." I mean, you wouldn't know the truth if you were in a room with the truth, and the truth was stark raving nude, and it had big giant boobs and a butt that tasted like vanilla ice cream. You still wouldn't recognize it. John in Washington.
Randy, my queen, how are you?
I'm fine, my supplicant. How are you?
I'm just I'm terrified. Buy a stinking podcast, everybody. Please, this is just so important. I couldn't get through my day without you.
Oh.
I couldn't.
Well, it's mutual. I can't get through my day without you.
You know, if no person is above the law, right, then why is Trump above the terms of service of Twitter? I mean, threatening witnesses, racist tweets, it just really jerks my chain. I mean, my spending next month, I mean, I don't know about anyone else, but I'm just economically terrified, worried about terrorist, threats now that we're in this weakened condition. It's like, I think I was talking to Scotty, Grover Norquist said, starve the beast.
Yeah.
Till it's small enough to drown in a bathtub.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what this maniac is doing.
It is. And, this is Putin's wish list for the United States of America, and, to be unsafe, to be confused, to be to have cyber crimes committed against us, to hack into voter registration rolls, to, do all this mayhem, all this, mishigas, all this crazy stuff. I mean, this man has just given us over to every adversary that you could possibly imagine. And I don't know how people are still doing it. I don't know how they're going to work. I don't know how they're, they're protecting this country in spite of him. I don't get. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
I've been reading up about Russia because I want to understand what are these people's mindsets. So I was looking at this documentary about the Bolsheviks, and anyway, Lenin and Stalin used starvation as a political tactic.
Yeah.
And this stuff with Mark Burnett and the Apprentice. It's like Russians everywhere. Russia's just like taking over with Brexit and everything.
Because they have all of this dirty, dirty money that they steal from the people, and they need to launder it. So production companies, New York real estate, any luxury item is a great place for them to hide their money. And so they seek out the wealthiest people or people that, are vulnerable because they owe a lot of money or they're trying to do so. And they invest in NRA, Mark Burnett, Donald Trump. Go to RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.